Hi everyone, this is Marina with How I Got Here with my good friend Simon Babayev. What's up?
What's going on? How's everything?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you being here. You're another inspiration to the cause.
Thank you.
My channel is about sharing the stories that people have, faced, overcame. Again, we met at a company working for door-to-door sales company. To everybody else, it was just, a regular
Yeah.
scheme. To us, it was an opportunity that was a once in a lifetime. And the reason why I'm mostly interviewing people from the companies because there's so many great people that I've met there. And I'm so honored till today, probably for the rest of my life, that I have met you all, because to me it was like a first step, being surrounded by the right people, going, it was like hope for me going in the right direction. And again, Simon Babayev is my people.
Yes, ma'am, right? Same tribe.
Right, same tribe, exactly. So now we're like double, we're from the same, I guess, gang when it comes to like the sales company, and also from the same culture, which actually proves that I wasn't the only Jewish person in the company, that everybody was like, what the hell are you doing there?
Mm.
But the opportunity again was one time in a million, because our leaders were awesome, and rest in peace to Jeff Pratt.
Yes, indeed.
One of the best, one of the most daring and caring and understanding and supportive people that we were lucky enough to have met. And I would say, people always need the right guidance in life. And I think, I don't know if there's another word for lucky, but we're just blessed to be
Yeah.
there. And Simon here is actually, you're directly under Marquise Almond,
Oh, yeah.
right? So he is the one who interviewed you. And I said when I was interviewing him that he's attracting the same type of people. He showed what hard work really means. He showed what dedication is. He didn't just like live in the stereotypical world where a black kid cannot accomplish anything. He's the complete opposite of it. He's an inspiration to so many. Doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're black. He's an inspiration, period. So when he started growing a team, you started coming into like his circle, and then Jordani, a couple of other people. Of course, there's a bunch of new that I don't know, but I told them, like, you guys are all on the same vibration, same level, and now I would love to hear your story. How did you get, into the sales comp? Because I know you used to be in the army, right? I'm not sure if you want to mention that part.
Yeah, Marines, I mean, same thing, military, right?
Right.
So yeah, well, first things first, I was born in Israel, right? I moved to the States in 2007. My background really doesn't scream sales or customer service at all.
Right.
I keep telling this to pretty much, every person that asks me about my military experience. I did, I was serving in the military, in the Marine Corps. I was serving from 2015 till actually the middle of last year. I was in the
Mm-hmm.
reserves. So while I was, working for the company, I was doing both that in the weekend and, working full time. And yeah, before that, I was doing security in the Bank of New York. So nothing in my background ever said customer service or
Right.
sales. The only thing sales related I'd done was being a cashier at Key Food, which is obviously nothing the same.
Right.
Um, so my contract was ending on active duty, and like any other person, I needed a job. So I started applying everywhere. And the company that we work for was really interesting because it was something that I never really done before. I didn't really
Exactly.
fully understand what the company was about. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was more so like, you're in an office, you're doing presentations to people, like you shaking hands, kissing
Well, that's
babies.
how they advertised it too. They're like, you'll be
Right,
in an
right.
office and like, yeah.
And obviously, yes, I was blessed enough to meet Marquise, and I've joined the company in 2017. I'm currently still in the business. I worked my way up from just regular sales, and I got promoted to being a partner, and now I'm running my own office, where my foundation was where I grew up at. Um,
So
I
what
don't
were
know if
your
that was
biggest
like a
struggles?
what was that?
What was your biggest struggles?
Oh wow, that's a list of many.
Because you
So
said, you opened up an office and people think like it's like a walk in the park. Like for me, I'm not, I mean, as a mom with two small kids, that was my biggest hurdle because it was time consuming. So eventually I was like, let me just leave and maybe if anything, one day I'll come back. But for you, you had a different opportunity, even though, like you said, you was juggling back and forth. So it's not like, oh, you woke up one morning and then you just became an owner,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
it was a
tell
long process. So I think the biggest thing that, you know, since the inception of me like trying to be somebody is the thought and the mindset of, you know what, have blind faith in whatever you're doing, right?
Mhm.
Like when
Truth.
you're going through a dark tunnel, nevertheless, it's still a tunnel. Just because you don't see the light yet doesn't mean there is no light. So you're
That
not
is.
gonna see the result in a day. You're not gonna see it in a month. Shoot, maybe you're not even gonna see it in a year,
Mhm.
right? But the longer you do something, the better you get at it, right? And the better you get at it, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you become, I mean, hey, it's in the fog of war where you clear out the road and you realize where you're heading, But if
Right.
you go
Eventually
through,
there's like a clear picture,
yeah,
but
if you don't go through the road, then you don't know what lies beyond that, right? So, with
yeah.
myself, it was, the biggest struggle that I've had was, accepting blind faith in the beginning, I'm sure the Marquis can attest to that too, but I was one of the
Yeah.
most skeptical people in this business. Like, oh, you make how much per sale? Oh, you're gonna get from to what? Like, I didn't believe nothing. So I had to
Right.
be shown everything, and
Mhm.
just yeah, like just having blind faith. And once I started having that mindset, it kind of like helped me through the bad days, and
But he was a good leader. Like to me, after he showed his true potential, I felt like the owner of the company was like, I should have had him on my team,
mm,
because he, again, probably one of the strongest people that I know in terms of like hard work. He
true,
woke up 4:30 in the morning every single day just to get to work by like 7:15, 7:20,
yeah,
and started interviewing, and he was like the face of the office, and it's not easy considering we all woke up, I mean, we all like living our life
yeah.
on what's taught to us by our families and parents, society, get an office job, get an education. I'm like, I have education and here I am,
You know
you
what it is?
know
It's like you gotta think sometimes, right? It's like the best leaders that have ever been were the ones with the toughest upbringing, right?
yeah.
If you had it easier in your come up, I mean, the moment one of your people has it hard, you can't really coach that. You can't really feel for it. So as a leader, it's kind
Hmm.
of twisted, but I wish to have the hardest path, right? I wish to not have it easy. Right? I wish to struggle at
Hmm.
every corner. As twisted as it sounds,
No, I
that's what
understand.
makes it, that's what makes you that much more able
Yes,
to, help out your people.
that's exactly what it is. Sometimes I say it, I don't want it easy. People are like, no, I've been
Mm,
working hard. I'm like, yeah, so have I, but I don't want it to be like a struggle nonstop, but I do want to see results. But when you get it easy, it's never like it. So for some reason, it doesn't last. You don't learn anything
yeah.
from it. You just understand so much more. There's a reason why things happen, and you have to overcome it. Believe in yourself, most importantly.
No, that's 100%, and that's another thing, like besides having blind faith, it's also like if you do have a bad day, it's like cool, it's making me stronger, it's teaching me something. Like
Exactly.
at the end of the day, like even if you play a video game, the video game doesn't get easier every level you go
No,
into, right? It gets
exactly.
harder and harder, but you get better and better, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have a team right now, right?
Yes, man.
And how
I
is
got a
the
couple
training?
people under my belt. What was your
Sorry?
question? I got a couple people under my belt.
So how is the training over there? They're like your babies right now, right? Or
Yeah. So it's kind of like you'll know I'm in the business, right? So in the beginning, you treat everybody like you hold them, through the process. The you can't get mad at your people for not performing based on two scenarios. Either they have a lack of training or, they just have a lack of direction.
Mhm.
If you train somebody to the best of their abilities and you consistently guide them, then there shouldn't be a reason why they're not doing well, unless it's a decision at that point, you know? So many times, not just in this business, but in life in general, I see so many people, when it comes down to parenting, when it comes down to just anything, relationships, right? The person is getting mad on the other person because their expectation is X, right? But they don't do anything to build that expectation to be that, you know? So you
Hmm.
can't get mad at your kid for drawing on the walls if you don't tell them not to draw on the walls, you know?
Exactly.
So kind of like that scenario, you know? So training is huge, you know? It's not that my people are not performing well, it's what am I doing that
That's
makes
true.
them not perform well, you know?
That's true. So how do you
It's
feel being where you are right now?
Oh, it feels great. You know, I mean, it feels great not because I feel like I made it. I don't ever want to feel like I made it, but it feels great because, you know, I've seen some type of growth, right? Now, in the grand scheme of life, you know, I'm like at step 2 of 2000, right?
Right.
Like I have so many more aspirations that are beyond this realm, I guess you can say, right? But,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's good to have just a little bit of an ability to look back, right? And
Oh
see,
yeah.
okay, I've traveled X so far, you know, just keep on going because the further I travel, the further I go, you know?
Yeah, but you kind of have would you say that your background, like, or your, I guess your past life being in the Marines, in the Army, kind of also helped you be a version of yourself right now?
Mhm.
Because you are taught different kind of life in general, like the way you were forced to just wake up at a certain time, do certain things, it's like
Yeah,
that lifestyle kind of brought you into this, which is technically similar in a way, because we were supposed to be at the office at a specific time. There's certain things we had to do no matter what.
yeah, discipline, 100%, you know,
Hmm.
like one thing that was a common thread, a common trend that is that, you know, when you were in the military, I mean, if anything in life, right, where you get to learn that discipline, you have a mantra, right? You know,
Hmm.
expect the worst, but hope for the best.
Right.
So regardless of what kind of bad day I have when whatever I'm doing, it's like, okay, cool. I mean, it could be way worse, right?
Hmm.
Like the person that didn't have a car didn't complain once he saw the person without legs, right?
Right.
So kind of like that same thing, right? Like, okay, you know, like in our business, I didn't get a customer today, right? Okay, well, boo-hoo, right?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't raining on me, right?
Right.
Or whatever, you know, like always,
Always be positive. Right.
yeah, you know, because I mean, like once you start thinking that way, you realize that you don't really have it that bad, you know.
Exactly. People don't appreciate. I feel like they don't appreciate what they have. So when God gives you a little bit and you don't say thank you for it, and then you're like, "Why is life so bad? Why
Yeah,
this?" And you're like, that's why I was so happy working at that company, because even if it didn't last for me as much, I learned so much. I was like, yeah, this is my vibration. This is the type of people I want to surround myself by. Because if you don't, no matter how society suppresses you, your culture, your community, and we know better than anybody how our community gets at times, right? It
yeah,
could be amazing at one side, and the other side, it could be dark, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And you have to make it for yourself. You have to do it. You have to know what's right for you, because if it's helping you grow, what's wrong with it? Why does it have to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or a teacher? You could be, look what I'm doing over here.
yeah.
I have my own little podcast. I have my own little children's books and whatever. And the world is my oyster. I've started, and I feel like the base came from our company. Having, just like you said, discipline. You have to believe in yourself, keep on going, and don't stop.
It's in the process that you find your path. You know, that's one of my
Exactly.
biggest beliefs. You know,
Yeah.
like regardless of what you're doing, right? It's in the process that you find yourself. You know,
Amen
if
to that.
it's huge. Like I just live by that saying. You know,
Actually, I'm gonna say that to my yesterday I was hanging out with my cousin, and I told him, like, you never know what you could find as soon as you start.
yeah.
And you just summed it up. It's in the process that you find your path.
The biggest thing is starting, you know. So many people just, you know, they do just so much research before they do anything, right? They read all the books, they do everything, but if they don't
Mm-hmm.
actually act upon it, it's
Exactly.
like I read 5 real estate books, but the
Oh
moment I
my.
go out and house hunt, it doesn't matter what I read, you know. So
Yes.
it's like analysis paralysis and whatnot.
The So what would you recommend to anybody who wants to be in, beside, like, I guess, in sales, or pursue something that they want, and life is not working out for them? Like, what would you say? Even listen, let's go back to the basic, like, not even but like Jeff Pratt, rest in peace. He was your leader. What would you say that you have learned from him that you can take today into your future so that you can actually teach and inspire others into do it. Because not only you came into this with a blind eye, the leader has passed away suddenly that has been your mentor, who has been your friend, maybe even a brother, right? Because and today you didn't break because of it. You didn't run away. You still staying strong, your whole team, which I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so impressed by you that no matter what happened, which is huge, you're still there and you're still thriving and you're still growing. So, I mean, your internal strength is beyond, right? Like, again, Marquise and Jeff Pratt has attracted the right type of people, right? What would you recommend? What do you think your journey is in terms of why things happened the way that it did?
Well, a couple of the lessons that I took from Jeff personally is, well, number one, don't take yourself too seriously, right? Like, it's okay, right? We tend to be too hard on ourselves, but in the grand scheme of things, right, somebody that looks at us from the other side would be like, oh, wow, this person accomplished so much. We just don't see it ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, second thing, of course, with not taking yourself too seriously is, don't be afraid to smile sometimes. I don't know if you remember me in the office. I was always like the super
You
militant
were
person,
serious, but
like
I
all
feel
the
like that's
time.
because you were learning.
I mean, true. I mean, I was learning how to be that, open, bubbly person, which,
Right.
from that background to this, it's all different. It's like a culture shock, it's a different world.
Yes.
But overall, again, like grit, right? Like just perseverance, just believing what you're doing, And one of the most beautiful things about believing what you're doing is that even if what you're doing is not, I'll give you a perfect example, like with my mother, right? So I went to John Jay, I got my bachelor's in criminal justice, right? I applied for the NYPD, I got 95% of that exam, went to the Marine Corps, right? I was going that direction. There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset, right? The fixed mindset says, hey, you spent so many years doing one thing and now you're doing something else. You wasted those years, right? Well, not really, because it was through the process of doing all of that that I
Yeah.
found my direction, Because if I
Yes.
was not going to do that, I'm probably not going to end up where I am right now, It's a stepping stone for everything. So
Exactly.
even if what you're doing right now is not really getting you to where you want to go, you're still going to learn a ton more things that get you prepared to what it is that you are going to do.
Right.
Like I use my criminal justice degree all the time. Like I know how to talk to people better, I know what ticks people. I understand both sides of the political spectrum a little bit better because I was aware of them. I'm not going to
Yes.
be attacking one side because I disagree with them, So it's little things like that, right?
But
It's huge.
yeah, it is. It is. It's not exactly, that's what it is. Like it's a stepping stone. And sometimes people are refusing to be open-minded to it, to the idea that like everybody's afraid of change. We're like, well, that we kind of prove them wrong that no, change is good. Like it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, And I'm proud of you. I don't know if it means anything, but I'm proud of you.
And I
Especially
always take that.
no, I'm very happy. I like to see people thrive and I like to see people, evolve because that's different. Sales is a huge part of your spiritual aspect because you cannot be a grumpy, negative, close-minded person and be in sales and be successful. Nobody's going to work for you. You have to have some type of heart, some type of respect or like understanding, compassion towards people, right? And then you are the example. So if I'm working under you, you're my leader, but you're crazy as AF, right? Like what's the point? I guess it's not for everybody, but the ones that can, we are the example.
What it is about sales is that, regardless of the fact, right, it does teach you how to deal with people. Like even if you're not successful at it, as long as you're being, what's the word I'm looking for? As long as you are like seeing that, right? Seeing how people treat you and seeing how people are in their comfort spaces and how they're not gonna be like that in public, right? You know how to tackle people better, So and whatever it is that you do now, right? Whether that be again your relationship or whether that be, you trying to pursue something and negotiate your way into it, right? I mean, sales is everything. Like you're selling yourself for a job, you're selling, yourself for a relationship, for whatever, right? So it's a huge stepping stone. Just knowing how to talk to people and how to downplay problems and, that customer service approach to it,
Yes,
like,
it's a gift. I still
yeah.
use it till today. Absolutely. Nobody has ever taught me anything like it, even remotely, at any other company.
Yeah,
But
communication is the biggest doorway, like
exactly.
sometimes you go to a store and you see somebody yelling at the cash register operator, right, like a cashier,
Hmm.
and you already know that person never did sales, they never had a customer service experience because they just don't
Hmm.
understand what they're doing wrong. But
Exactly.
that could close so many doors for them without them even knowing that, because they just don't know how to
Exactly.
communicate with people.
Exactly.
So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that at this point in my career, if I'm going to a business, regardless of what happens, I'm
Hmm.
good. you know
Do you still have people within your like cultural background, I guess, that don't believe that you're still on the right path?
Oh yeah, believe that.
Still?
What I've learned is that people are only with you once they see success, but not in the
Yes.
process, regardless of what culture you're from, right? It's just a common sense. Like my mother never believed in this business until she saw me becoming a manager. And even as a manager, whenever I had a bad day, she was just like, "Oh, you see, I told you not to do that." But on the good days, oh, I always believed in you, And I can't be mad at that because I know the nature of people. Like
Yes.
nobody knows your process better than you do. So
Yes.
if you believe your process, I mean, hey, the only thing you got to do now is to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah. That's why it's important to believe in yourself. And the leaders
Yeah.
that we have are badasses in their own way. Like you can't, like the amount of problems I had while I was married when it
I
comes
can
to
only
this
imagine.
company. A woman should not do this. A woman is like, you're poor, you're like a beggar, you're this. I'm like, what are you talking about? I loved
Yep.
it. Just try doing it. I'm like, people in our community, let's say like we have like barbers or whatever. I was like, customers go to you. I have to look for a customer. So try still making a sale, talking to a complete stranger, and still being top notch. That's something that you can't even comprehend. So even if my growth into the right direction is starting from here, that's the best thing because it's like being at a general and eventually becoming a CEO of the company. How else are you going to become a CEO if you don't know what the general's job is, right? You cannot just be like, and I don't want to be spoon fed. Oh, here, you know what? Here's the key to the. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I want to work for it so that I can embrace or make the best of it moving forward, right?
You know what's one major key about what you just said? Is again, you look like the whole idea, you look like a beggar because my mother told me the exact same thing, looking for customers, right? My mindset, and I told her that repeatedly, is that, hey, in life, yeah, I get it. Barber, people come to you, but in life, nobody comes to you. You have to go out there and get it. You
That's
have to be the person that takes control of the destiny. Nobody's gonna give you nothing.
nope.
Nobody's gonna come to you and tell you, hey, you know what? I want to make you the CEO. Like, no, you have to go out there, face adversity. You have to get out of your comfort zone to grab what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that, I personally enjoyed by doing sales, because again, it's not easy, it's not fun, but through that process, you realize, oh, I'm building the callus on my skin. I'm gaining
Exactly.
the experience of having that, tough mindset of it doesn't matter what somebody says or treats me, I will get mine.
And that's the best part when at the end of the day, I'm like, I did it and
Yeah.
I'm still here and I'm thriving. That's one of the reasons why I was like, I'm not leaving until I really have to. And I moved on to different things and learned whatever. And I'm like, at the end of the day, if it's not challenging, I don't want it. It's not
Yeah.
fun for me. That's how it was. And I'm so grateful that we have met. I'm so grateful that we've been part of this, I mean, in my case,
100%.
been there. And like I told to Marquise and a couple of other people from the company, in a year, I'm going to interview you again because I want to see where you are, where you're
Oh
growing.
yeah, I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna have a fancier suit and a real background
You're
instead of.
going to look like an island boy.
Oh no, 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 not that.
No, you're probably going to have 3 kids. I don't know. Maybe one day you're going to get snatched because you are Jewish. How dare you not be married by a
I
certain
know,
time?
right? Oh, my mother is trying her best, believe me, but hey,
I
I'm one tough cookie.
your rebuttal every time she says, but there's a nice girl right across the street.
Well, hey, that sales background, right? I know every objection in the game now, so
Exactly.
that's
People
it.
just don't know.
You see, mom, you should have done sales yourself. You probably could have got me, but
She'll rebuttal you back. Yeah, exactly. That's not how that works. But look, I wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart.
Mm.
I'm so proud of you.
Appreciate you.
Listen, I'm like beyond, like, I don't even know what words to use. I'm honored to be part of that circle, even though I'm not directly in it. Because even though my kids are so small, I always teach them little thing. This is how it was, and I'm still gonna drill them, and maybe eventually they'll be part of the company one way or the other, or in sales, whatever. Because I feel like it's one of the best life schools life can offer.
Yeah.
Right. Because we all need. I feel like people lack guidance, and a place like that gives you exactly what you need. Because a guide from a culture is one thing. It's like you're brainwashed, systematic. You have to do it. But when you do it because you want to, because you feel it, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Maybe if you weren't so pushed constantly to do what you're supposed to, maybe you would have had done certain things already. You know?
True.
But it is what it is, man. It's life. At least we'll be perfect in one aspect.
I know, right? Chasing progress, not perfection after all. Progress every day.
Exactly. But Simon, thank you so much. We finally made it to an interview.